Thanks for joining us. AM 1440 KUHL, a very important election coming up. Lots of important issues and races. One of those is who will be representing you for the State Assembly District. That will be District number 35. And we have a couple of candidates that are running in that race, actually 4. And I've got one in studio with us right now to talk about his campaign. And he is Steve Labard. And Steve, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Ben. Thanks for having me on.
Before we talk about the issues, Steve, a little introduction. Who is Steve Labard?
We've been here since 1979. We started a business here, Labard's Computer Center. We've been in business for 37 years, my wife and myself. We've serviced computers from the whole Central Coast, going all the way from Paso Robles down to Santa Barbara. And
let's get into some of the issues. I wanted to first ask you, why are you running for State Assembly?
The biggest reason I'm running is because everything I've tried to do in this county, there seems to be roadblocks, and it seems like nobody can ever get anything done anymore in this county because of all the bureaucracy. And I know it's spread throughout all of California, all of the problems that we have just trying to get any projects through.
Now, you've been working on a project in Orcutt, and this is involving a Veterans Memorial. Can you tell me about that?
Correct. I've been working on that project for 5 years. I was on Fox News, and I was on a lot of the local news over it. First, they wouldn't let me put up the American flag. I got the American flag put up. Then I tried to get a Veterans Memorial built at the entrance into Old Town Orcutt, and I fought back and forth with Caltrans, and they kept changing everything on me. First, they wanted $1,500 for the property, and then they did an appraisal, and 3 years later, they're telling us that the property, now they want $47,000 for the property. They basically just keep putting up one roadblock after another so that I can't build the project.
So if elected, you want to change this process, the bureaucracy, any state legislation that you would support if elected?
Yes. Well, one of the things I wanted to do was change the 1953 state law that says the American flag's allowed in the sidewalk in the state right-of-way to include all gateway monument projects so that the American flag could be put up in, let's say, Guadalupe wants to do a Welcome to Guadalupe sign. They'll be approved today, but if they include the American flag in that project, it will be denied. So I'd support that. And the other thing I'd do is I'd reintroduce Tony Strickland's bill that Caltrans told us we didn't need anymore after it went all the way through the Senate floor to build the Veterans Memorial in Old Town Orcutt.
So in your opinion, we can always do better when it comes to working with the people, government and people working together?
Correct, yes, okay. Absolutely.
We have Steve Labard. He is running for the 35th State Assembly District. Steve wanted to talk on some other issues here. One is actually with the economy. If voters send you to Sacramento, what sorts of things would you support in terms of bringing higher paying jobs to the area?
Well, I think we have a lot of problems in this state, especially in this district. Water's a big one. I think we need more desalination plants along our coastlines. There's a new plant that was opened up down in Carlsbad that cost $1 billion to build. It serves 400,000 people. And I look at the high-speed train that California wants to put in at a price tag of $68 billion that will more than likely be taxpayer subsidized. That there would pay for, if you want to look at it this way, that would pay for 68 desalination plants that would serve 27 million people, about 71% of the whole state. Now, obviously, we don't need 68 desalination plants, but it just goes to show you how California wastes their money in some places where they shouldn't be, and how much better our whole economy could be if we put that money into our water security for the state of California. Healthcare is another issue. Healthcare is just totally out of whack. A lot of small businesses can't afford it anymore. They're losing their health care. Housing is another big issue. Housing is so expensive on the Central Coast. I'd like to introduce some legislation there to bring in some smaller type housing that's allowed. They're called tiny houses, to basically speed that process through and put a cap on what they would charge for that. I think we could add about 5 to 10% of the housing to the housing market by doing that. Another thing I'd like to do, along with the desalination plant, is looking at bringing in a marina somewhere along the coast, maybe, let's say, somewhere like Guadalupe. Guadalupe's been, their economy over there has been struggling for a long time, and that would be a great shot in the arm for those people over there and our whole area. And those that plant, and whether that's maybe even add a plant up at Diablo Canyon and power that with either nuclear or solar. So there's a lot of ways there. I think that if we fix some of the other problems, the jobs will come with that.
Okay, so we're looking at different priorities and things to concentrate that would bring those jobs to the area.
Correct.
All right, we have Steve Labard. He is a candidate for the 35th State Assembly District. Mr. Labard, is there a website people can go to find out more about your campaign?
Yes, it's www.steve35.com.
And Steve, let me ask you here, when it comes to offshore oil and energy, what is your position on offshore oil? Do we need more of that? Would you like to see more of that occur, or do we need more renewable energy sources?
Well, I think we need the oil right now. It would be silly to say that we don't need oil right now, but I think that we do need the newer technologies coming online. I think battery technology is going to be huge as that comes more and more of a reliable, usable product to where the solar energy, the solar panels can give us that power in a battery form, whether that's for cars or homes or whatever the case might be.
And also when it comes to national security, I know this is more of a federal issue, but if voters send you to Sacramento, are there some things that you would support to maybe make things safer when it comes to securing the border, or any policies that you would support when it comes to illegal immigration?
Well, definitely. We definitely have a problem with illegal immigration here and the crime that has come along with that, especially with all the gangs here in Santa Maria and all of the problems that we have with that. One of the guys that is going to be on my staff, Steve Baird, he's a combat Vietnam veteran, and I know he's pretty well versed in anti-terrorism. But going back to the crime and the gangs, there's I believe that that we need to embrace the immigrants here that want to become patriotic Americans, and then we need to be able to control the ones that are just here to work and they're really not interested in being American citizens. We need to bring everybody up to our standards. We don't need to lower ourselves to third world country standards.
Steve Labard is running for the 35th State Assembly District, and his website, by the way, is steve35.com. Steve, with a little bit of time that I've got left, really it's going to come down to voters deciding who they want to be representing them in Sacramento. Again, there are 4 candidates in this race. Why are you the best candidate? Why should voters send you to Sacramento?
Because I don't just talk about small business. I've been in small business for 37 years. I've had a lot of struggles with small business. A lot of the employees that we've had, we train them and they go on to work for the county or out at Vandenberg Air Force Base because we can't compete with the benefits. Healthcare is killing us. When it comes to veterans issues, I know veterans issues very well. I've dealt with a lot of them myself. I've been to the VA clinic here in Santa Maria when they told me they wouldn't give me a respirator because it was too expensive when I had pneumonia. Senior help there. I'm a big advocate for seniors. I recently donated 5.25 acres of land out in Old Town Orchid to build a new senior center out there. I've spent 10 years helping revitalize Old Town Orchid. I got a lot of things pushed through when I did that. I'm not a politician. I don't plan on staying in office for a long time. I want to do my 2 years. I want to do my duty to my state, to my country, and then I want to let somebody else move into the position to continue on with that work.
Steve Labard, candidate for 35th State Assembly District, and the website again is www.steve35.com. Steve Labard, Mr. Labard, Steve, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you, Ben. I appreciate it.